Hello and welcome back to this channel. So today's video is going to be about making patterns from patterns. So we're going to do a few things here today. That is, we're going to create two different patterns, pattern number A and pattern number B, and then we're going to put them together and try to create a new pattern as a combination of these two patterns. So let's just get started. I'm just going to go to File and New. Let's create a 5 into 5 inches, and in Advanced Options, I'm going to change this to RGB and make it maybe 150 ppi. If you want higher resolution, make sure to change it to 300. Click Create. So first let's create our main pattern. Right click, go to your ellipse tool, click and drag and make an ellipse. Let's uncheck this. And now right click and you can go to your anchor point tool and click on this point here and click on this point here to make a very sharp corners. Go to your fill and stroke section and undo the stroke. And for fill, let's give it a color. This one. And now let's go to our line segment tool. That is right click and go to line segment tool and click, hold your shift key down and drag to make a line segment from this end to this end. Go to your selection tool or press V on your keyboard. Click outside. And now click on the stroke and click on your stroke here. Let's give it a color, maybe this one. And you can find all the details in the stroke panel, which you can see under window and then stroke. I've kept it at 1 point. You can change it to anything you want. This looks fine. Now I'm going to make copies of it by selecting everything. Hold your Option or Alt key down, click and drag to make a copy, and press Command D to make a couple of more copies. Now we're going to give different colors to each of these leaves. Make sure you select your fill and click on the color. Let's arrange these now, but before that, click and select each leaf and press Command or Control G to group them. It's time to arrange this. Click and drag, and when you hover over here, you'll see a rotate button, so you can just rotate them. You can also click and select and increase the size. So first element is ready, and now it's for the second pattern. Go to your ellipse tool again, right click, ellipse tool, click and drag to make an ellipse. Let's color this some other color. Go to your anchor point tool again and click and click. Go to your selection tool, and now we're going to rotate it around to make it into a flower. And make sure this shape is selected. And now go to your rotate tool. You can right click and go to rotate tool. Click at this point here. Hold your Option or Alt, click, hold your shift key and then drag to make a copy, which is at perfect 45-degree angle. Now press Command or Control D to repeat it until this point. Now we'll go back to our selection tool, click and select all of these and go to a pathfinder. You can find it under window and then pathfinder somewhere here, yeah, and click on unite. Now Control C to copy, Control F to paste on top. Now click, hold your Option and Shift and drag it a little in, and we're going to give this a different color. Again, Control C and Control F to paste on top, click and hold and drag it in to make another one, and now we'll give it a different color. Let's move this aside for now and bring this in the center. Let's make a few more of these flowers. You can just click on this, hold your Option or Alt key down, click and copy and paste it here and reduce the size by holding your Shift key. You can actually change the color as well. Let's make a few more of this. Okay, so both our elements are ready and now it's time to turn it into a pattern. So let's start with this one first. So click and select everything. Let's go to Object, Pattern and Make. Click OK. And then now here we can choose whatever we want, grid or anything. Choose which looks the best for your pattern. If you don't know how to create a seamless pattern or how you want to use these options here, I have so many other videos on how to create seamless pattern. I will link them in a card here and you can go check it out. Click on Done and these will show up in your swatches. You can access swatches from going to under window and then swatches over here. Let's do the same thing for this one. This seems very weird, so I'm just going to change this and see if I can make it a little different. Okay, maybe this one is better, but I'm just going to increase the space between these two. Okay, and click on Done. We have two patterns ready and now it's time to make a pattern out of it. So I'm just going to group this and also group this by pressing Command or Control G. And let's keep it in a side because we don't want to mess with it right now. I'll just increase the artboard size so that you guys can see it. So now go to your rectangle tool, click and drag to make a rectangle. And now we're going to fill this up with our swatch. But before that, let's make another copy. Hold your Option or Alt, click and hold your Shift and drag so that it goes and snaps with each other. If you don't see these pink lines here, you can go to View and Smart Guides, and it will really help you with the moving structures around. Let's go back to your selection tool. Now click and let's give this one as the first pattern and this one is the second pattern. You can also move them around if you don't like the way patterns are arranged. So you can, let's go to this one first and give it this one and this one as this one. Okay, so you can also check this and make this a bit bigger and now reapply the pattern. Okay, this looks cool. Now I'm just going to select everything and hold your Shift key down and reduce in size to what we actually wanted. And now we have a smaller pattern inside this shape and this is how we need it. So click and select both of these and now go to Object, Pattern and Make. But it gives you an error that patterns cannot contain anything painted with the pattern. So it's not straightforward to create a pattern out of a pattern. So we're going to use a simple trick, that is we'll go to Object and Expand. Fill and click OK. And now we're going to select everything. Go to Object, Pattern and Make. Click OK. This is quite overlapped for some reason because So I'm just going to click on this pattern tool. But before that, I don't want it grid. I want it brick by row. And now let's increase this as much as we want. Okay, so this side is overlapping. Oops. A little more to this edge. Just have to struggle a bit till you can find that edge. I can see it here now. Okay, I think this looks fine and click done. Now let's create a really huge rectangle because the pattern is pretty huge. Just going to create a huge one and I will color it white. Now Control C and Control F to paste on top and let's put the new pattern. You have your new pattern ready. So this is basically how you create a pattern from a pattern. There are lots of instances where you want like particular bits of pattern to work together, or you already have some patterns and you want to see if you can put them together to make them look good. Making patterns out of patterns is absolutely an additional feature that's really helpful most of the times. So I hope you like this video and I hope you create a lot of patterns out of the patterns that you have made. You can actually start making your own pattern collection, for example, for spoon flower. And I hope you enjoy creating these patterns. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with any person you think would enjoy it or would really learn something from it. And do subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and I think I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.